Hi, I'm Jeff Holden. Welcome to the Nonprofit Podcast Network. Our purpose and passion is to highlight a nonprofit organization in each weekly episode, giving that organization an opportunity to tell their story in their words to better inform and educate the respective communities they serve, as well as provide one more tool for them to share their message to constituents and donors. Our goal is to help build stronger communities through shared voices and to both encourage and support the growth of local nonprofit organizations through podcasting. Thanks to our founding partners for their foresight in helping us transform the way conversations start. CapTrust, fiduciary advice for endowments and foundations. Runyon Saltzman Incorporated, RSE, marketing, advertising, and public relations creating integrated communications committed to improving lives. And Western Health Advantage, a full-service healthcare plan for individuals, employer groups, and families. Women have been an integral part of the workforce for years. Now women are an integral part of business ownership and entrepreneurship, and their rate of growth has been increasing year over year. According to a recent study done by Wells Fargo, over 39% of all businesses are women-owned. And as for entrepreneurs, consider this. In 2023, women represented 49% of the new business owners in the U.S. That's up from 29% in 2019. And those women are represented by all ethnicities and races. Women-owned and operated businesses mirror those of men, and while there's still a ways to go for all things to be equal, there are organizations demonstrating and supporting the strength of women-owned businesses. The woman I'm speaking with is the current president of the Sacramento chapter of NAWBO, or the National Association of Women Business Owners. She also happens to be a partner in a woman-owned business, ACUS Law, is a mother of two, and is active in several organizations that support and empower women-owned businesses. Christina Dixon, welcome to the Nonprofit Podcast Network.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to talk to you today because we haven't had an organization like NABO on before. And before we get into it, what is NABO? I mean, it goes by its acronym, which is a little atypical, NAWBO.
Right. NABO is the National Association of Women Business Owners.
And keyword national there. So you are an affiliate or a chapter. What does that look like across the country?
Right. So we are a chapter. We are the Sacramento region chapter. And obviously, so California is interesting of the national chapter because we have 11 chapters in California.
Wow.
Most states have one or two. So we have 11. So in addition to national, which is based in Washington, D.C. for advocacy purposes, we have chapters throughout the country, and California has 11. And on top of that, kind of an intermediary level, there's a chapter just for California. So it's the California chapter. So it encompasses all of the California chapters.
Well, I'd imagine some of that popularity, let's say, in California is just because of the nuance of business in this state, and maybe so many entrepreneurs and business owners and women business owners, not to mention state capital of the largest state in the union. So it's great to see that presence.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see as maybe some of the differences as you look with some of your peers across the country? Do you notice some novelty in the state of California chapters?
That's interesting. I'm trying to think if we have differences. I mean, I think one of the main differences is just the sheer number of chapters that we have and the variety of businesses that we have here. So NABO encompasses businesses at all stages. So we have, early stages to mature, we're getting ready to sell and exit. And I think because we have so many chapters in California, we encompass like kind of broader base of those types of businesses.
And you just answered partially the next question, the scope of women-owned businesses that you work with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously we have auto construction with Allison Auto. It's really large, all the way down to, I would imagine, startups.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the same here in Sacramento?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you may have actually met with some of the other organizations, but Sacramento Entrepreneurs Academy SEA Growth Factory, Fourth Wave. So we have a wide variety of surprisingly many startups in our organization, as well as solopreneurs, all the way up to large multi-millionaires, multi-million kind of dollar revenue organizations. So it's really all stages. And one thing that's interesting about our chapter is that we, at the helm of Liliana Bernal, who you know, she started the high school clubs piece of our chapter, and we're the only chapter in the country that has that.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fabulous to integrate and orient youth at such an early age into seeing all these successful women. What a great experience for the kids. Students, yeah. Yep.
So our first school is St. Francis, which is obviously great feeding grounds for us.
Yeah.
And our relationship there really started with Liliana. She started the high school chapter or high school clubs kind of piece of NABO Sacramento. And now we have a collaboration with Junior Achievement. So our NABO High School Club is powered by Junior Achievement, which gives them a little bit more as far as like content and programming geared towards them.
And you're leading up right into the very next question of collaboration. It's just flowing naturally. We're not having to ask the questions. You're going there. So St. Francis, are there any other significant high schools that you're coordinating and collaborating with?
Right. So right now we have Oak Ridge. That was actually our first chapter.
Another big school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Oak Ridge. And that one was actually founded by, I don't know if you know, Renata Jenik. She's the CEO of Foodum. Her daughter was a high school student at Oak Ridge, and she was so inspired, I think, by seeing her mom win an OWL Award. She founded the very first high school chapter, and then it kind of blossomed from there. It became something that we could support even more, which is awesome. So then we got St. Francis, and now we're kind of growing into Cristo Rey and other schools where there might be a population interested in this.
Oh, and Cristo Rey, especially because of the work-study program. Yep. How perfect is that? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's exciting. That's really encouraging to hear and to see that you're giving the students the ability and the opportunity to actually engage in the workforce through a variety of different perspectives, let's say. Mm-hmm. So not necessarily in the environment, but in the environment of women who are successful, and they get to experience it in a unique way versus what they hear about. Mm-hmm. And in some cases don't hear about.
Right, and it may not always just be the women who are already successful, but the women who are at the early stages or kind of in that toddler stage or teenage stage of their business where there can be difficulties, capital, finding people, growth, scaling. Those are all those kind of obstacles you have to overcome in your journey.
When I would imagine too, as a youth, as a student, experience and watch and see some of the challenges and or the opportunities that you will probably have in the scholastic environment, either through high school or college. Small businesses start that will take place and continue to thrive after the students graduate. So that'll be really, really interesting.
Yeah, and the other kind of interesting piece of that is that along with the high school club, which they can participate in throughout the school year, we also offer the high school pitch competition, which gives them an opportunity to come up with a business and pitch it to our judges. And some of our judges include some of our corporate partners, but it includes other community leaders as well, which is great because then they kind of get to be on the receiving end of like, where are their gaps and opportunities in their business plan?
Oh, that's not only that's great life skill. That to be able to do that. I'm envisioning fast pitch or something like that. The SVP fast pitch, and or the presentation for Impact 100. Those are somewhat stressful, events.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
What great experience to be able to get a student up there with their own business plan and idea.
Yeah, it's also I think nice too because it's a little bit more supported. It's not Shark Tank.
Right. Yeah, when you're talking about $100,000, it changes the difference in terms of the perspective on the presentation.
But it's a nice chance for them to get some feedback on their business plan and their business model. So I think it's a great program. So.
And are they coached along the way?
Yeah, they have an opportunity through their club to receive coaching.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
You also mentioned OWL, which we'll get back to in a second, but the other collaborations, so Junior Achievement, who are some of the other organizations that you might work with?
Sure. So we've worked with Girl Scouts that's actually a relatively new relationship. We're in our second year of collaborating with them, which is amazing.
Makes great sense, though.
Yeah, especially, so it's Girl Scouts, and I'm going to get the name wrong, but it's Girl Scouts Heart of Central California, I think.
Yes.
It's a very long name, but I loved their mission. And so one of our partners, Kelly DeMarco, brought us in as a partner for them for their first annual gala. And I got to learn what they do, which really the fundraising piece of it is supporting girls who are otherwise unable to participate financially in a troupe. So that was just really, I think, amazing for our community to support that. And then over the summer, we went to Camp Menzies and did this whole kind of adults, Girl Scout experience until we got smoked out and we had to leave. Like there was literally a fire 6 miles away and they had to
for
evacuate
real?
us. Yeah, that really happened.
It wasn't a bunch of s'mores burning or something. It was
Nope.
the real deal.
It was the real deal. Yeah, we got a radio call and they were like, "There's a fire 6 miles away. We're going to have to evacuate." So, but look forward to the next one.
I would imagine that's a great experience for everybody.
Yes, we got to go experience Camp Menzies and have like an adult. So there was canoeing, there was archery, all the different things, and you could make flower crowns. And I mean, we didn't get to do all the things because we got evacuated. But yeah, I mean, I think it's been a great partnership, and I really love that we can support them and also create that kind of the path, right? So you can start in a troop. And the interesting thing is, and I don't know if you talked to Linda Farley before,
Yes.
but she always asks how many women that you know in business or that are in companies have been a Girl Scout, and a lot of times we often raise our
many.
Yep, I was a Girl Scout.
More than Boy Scouts.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
more than if you talk to guys.
Yeah.
Well, how you were a Boy Scout or a Cub Scout or whatever, not so much. But when you talk about Girl Scouts, oh yeah, I was a Girl Scout. I was a brownie and graduated and did my whole thing. So yeah, I don't know if it's more prolific here or if that's nationwide. Be a good question we have to ask Linda at some point, right?
We will. Yeah. So we partner with Girl Scouts, Junior Achievement, and then we have great partnerships with most of the chambers. I think almost all of them. I'm trying to think now if there's any we don't have. And then we also form relationships with some of the entrepreneur organizations. So Growth Factory, we're working on a relationship with SEA and Fourth Wave as well.
Yeah, those are great organizations because they take in so much to the community. Not to mention they can expose you both ways. People who didn't know about NAWBO now do, and vice versa. Great organizations or great businesses and startups that you're talking to now by presentation.
Yeah, and I think the nice thing with collaborating with those organizations is that they provide an avenue for startups where you may not be at an EO level or some of the others, right? Like you might want something a little more supported, maybe not as you're on your way on that journey.
Well, you mentioned EO, Entrepreneurs Organization.
I believe so.
Yeah. And there's thresholds there. That one has a significant threshold to be a participant, and so it eliminates a lot of the opportunity for many people, and not unjustly. It's just that type of an organization, so they're a little bit different. The thing that's unique about NAWBO is that it's also all volunteer. Tell me a little bit about what that looks like, because stuff still gets done, but you're not paying anybody for it.
That's true. I know. It's really interesting. I feel like the women that I've encountered through NAWBO, both at the national level, different regions, in our chapter in California, since everyone's an entrepreneur, they're for the most part the boss, right?
Yeah.
They're very driven, very focused, and I think have different talents to offer. And so I think it helps us in our mission as far as like making sure we're offering a broad range of programming and considering all angles and perspectives. But I think that is kind of the thing that I see really is that since they're driven to be entrepreneurs already, they're driven to give back as well. And then there are different ways, right? Some people might be really good at social media or marketing. Some people might be really good at kind of ops and processes and protocols and things like that. Everyone offers something different. But I think as a volunteer organization, I guess one of the more difficult thing is for me as president is sort of making sure I'm pulling at the right levers and in the right way to motivate people, because it's more of a carrot approach, right? They're not paid employees.
Oh, you're not going to get a stick in this. They'd walk.
Exactly. So it's, I think, a big learning curve for anyone that steps into a leadership role is that you have to figure out it's different than running your business. It's not the same. They're volunteers. And so there's certain limitations to what you can ask them to do, what's reasonable. But I think there's also I think, more incentive because they're in it for the mission.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you're paying them like an employee. They're there because it's a job. They're there because they want to be there.
They're cause-driven.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, I want to compliment you in that situation as well. As president, you have the responsibility of all of that. You're also an attorney. You're a mother of two.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of work in itself. And then to find the time to give back to the organization, which is a relatively demanding organization as well, because you have so many things going on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk a little bit about that, because a lot of those things are what fund the organization. So how are you funded?
We are funded primarily by our corporate partners.
And
so
what does that look like?
So our corporate partners have investment opportunities with us to partner with us, at various levels. And we have a variety of corporate. We're actually really lucky. We don't have just one type of organization or one industry. So we have financial institutions that partner with us. We have, drawing a few blanks here right now.
This is your opportunity to pitch. Hey
yes,
guys,
I know.
Here's what we need to keep NABO doing well.
Yeah, we have a large manufacturing organization with us. And we have, they're partners. I think they're partnering with us because they are also mission driven,
Mm-hmm.
or at least want to be along with us and support us on our journey. So we are primarily funded by corporate partners. We have some money that comes from national because of membership dues, but that's a very small percentage of our budget.
What about events? I think you have at least one big event every year. Will you share that with us?
Sure.
And you did mention already, but
yes, I did. We have the OWL Award Gala. So that is the Outstanding Women Leaders Award Gala, and we are in our 29th year.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
29 years in Sacramento, the organization has existed.
No, we've existed for, I'm terrible at math now.
More than?
I guess it'll be, I think we were started in 1987. But we're in our 29th year. I don't think that they did it the very first year.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. But our founding member is Eva Garcia, and she's still active with our community.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
It's so neat to see organizations that have some historical equity in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when those leaders are still around.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we see it with many of the chambers,
right.
Until somebody ages out or passes. And just that history and that knowledge and that experience that they bring into the organization, having seen so much, and Sacramento's grown so much in the last 30 years.
Oh, yeah.
That the dynamic of everything has changed, but they've seen every bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they offer so much to the organization when they're able to say, well, historically, here's or that person or that organization, because they know from experience.
Right. Right. Yeah, we're lucky that Eva and her daughter, Rosanna, was also a president of our chapter, and they are very active. They just actually supported us in our membership drive event. And as we were mentioning OWL, we are approaching the 50th anniversary of NABO nationally.
Okay.
So in March, on March 8th, coincidentally, not so much, it's International Women's Day. That's the day we're hosting our OWL, our 29th annual OWL Awards Gala. So I invite everyone to come and support. Tickets are on sale right now.
Okay, and that'll be the 2025
Correct.
OWL Awards.
Yeah.
But March 8th, is March 8th always... Is it always March 8th that it's national?
No, it's not always March 8th. We
Okay.
always do it in March because that's Women's History Month.
Okay.
But this year, in 2025, we're extra lucky because it's not only our 50th anniversary, but we can hold it on International Women's Day, which is great.
So if you're listening to this episode past March 8th in 2025, it will happen sometime in March in
Of
2026. We just
Right.
don't know that date
Yes.
yet.
And there are other opportunities. We have our For Women by Women Capital Summit. We're in our second year of hosting that annually, which is a fantastic event. It's a way for us to provide not only just as far as information and programming as to how they can get capital financing, but the different kinds of financing. So it's not just traditional lending. There are other ways to get financing or capital for your company to grow and scale. So that's our other kind of main event. The other types of things you'll see through NABO are the quarterly business builders. Those are really geared towards, obviously, the women business owners, but any allies or community members as well. So there's a variety of different ways to get involved if you're listening after March 8th, 2025.
Which That's only 6 months from now.
Yes.
No, less than.
Yes, don't remind me. There's so much to do.
Yeah, right? I know it. As we're recording this today in December of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be back to learn more about women-owned businesses with Christina Dixon right after this message from those people who make the program possible. I was in the media business for over 35 years and had the great privilege of working with Runyon Saltzman, RSE, Marketing, Advertising, and Public Relations. We collaborated on many different campaigns, but their commitment to the nonprofit sector hasn't changed since their founder, Gene Runyon, started the agency. Over many years and many campaigns, Runyon Saltzman has been committed to improving lives by tackling California's most challenging issues. Guided by research-informed strategies and insightful, creative solutions, RSE develops innovative communications campaigns that raise awareness, educate, and reduce stigma in diverse communities throughout our state and beyond. To learn more about RSE, visit rs-e.com.
Hello, this is Scott Thomas with Cap Trust in our Sacramento office. I specialize in working with local nonprofits and associations. Annually, we survey private and public nonprofit organizations across the country to better understand challenges they see in today's environment. In our more recent survey, we heard concerns about proper board governance, mission-aligned investment, and how to implement alternative investments. If you would like a copy of the survey or to discuss your organization, look me up, Scott Thomas at captrust.com.
I'm thrilled to have Western Health Advantage partnering with us as they do so much to support so many nonprofit agencies in our community. As a truly local health plan, you'll find individual and family options, employer options, plans for CalPERS and Medicare Advantage. From medical services to pharmacy, health and wellness support, as well as behavioral health care, Western Health Advantage has a plan that fits what you need. As an employer, for profit or nonprofit business, individual or family, you can find more at westernhealth.com. If the organization didn't have budget constrictions in Sacramento, and I don't mean that in a negative way, you have to live within a budget.
Right.
But if there was no budget, if you had basically an unlimited budget, what would it look like?
I was thinking about that before our time together, and I think that, if we had every resource, I think we would be able to offer more support for entrepreneurs at all different stages. So we do offer the high school clubs. I wish we could be in more, right?
Mm-hmm.
We need more people, and we need more awareness.
Oh, that's
and
right.
buy-in.
You could have the interest, but somebody's got to take care of it.
Take care of it. Mm-hmm.
So you are limited just by
Right.
scope and capability of the staff.
And financials, right? Because we have a relationship with Junior Achievement, but it's not financial free.
Yes, yes.
So we do have to pay for that. So I think it would be nice to offer that at more levels and a little bit more. It's wonderful that we have the program, but we don't have the depth and breadth because we don't have the capacity or the finances to support that.
Mm-hmm.
And we do also have a relationship with Sac State, but we don't necessarily have the means to kind of offer as the depth of programming that we would like to. I think there are more opportunities there. But I think more than anything, we would want to be able to do a couple things. One, we'd like to be able to offer an entrepreneur scholarship, which we don't have yet. I'm hoping I can do that sometime in my term. And then I think I'd also like to, my pie in the sky is I would like to have a NABO hosted TEDx in Sacramento.
Oh, that'd be fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
I can envision what that would look like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be fun.
It would be cool. I've been looking into it a little bit, and I've observed that there are some licensing roadblocks and all these other kinds of things. But hopefully, if we can get some additional financial support, we could kind of navigate that.
Well, that's the unlimited budget part.
That is the unlimited budget. Yep, that's the pie in the sky.
You go out and make that happen.
Yep.
So if we take a step back into reality of budgets,
Mm-hmm.
what is the greatest need that you have at this point?
I think it's twofold. I think we had touched on it a bit. Additional financial support is helpful. So it would be great to have corporate partners in a little bit more variety of fields and areas. And then I think the other thing is we really want to raise awareness so that we can capture and engage members that really are here for all the reasons that we're here and the sentiment of the organization. So really kind of getting those really deeply engaged members would be, for a number of reasons. One, because we can add to the perspectives, we can create those lasting relationships, but also so that we can create succession planning for the chapter to continue the chapter for generations.
And to reiterate, as an all-volunteer organization, it's not like there's a staff somewhere manning certain things, handling the events, doing the administrative functions. It's all on the volunteers. It's all on the people who are your board and or yourself.
Yeah, we have slowly introduced some contracting help. So we contract with some particular event help, and we, as finances allow, we get some administrative help when we can afford it. But yeah, it's us.
How many people on the board?
23.
Okay. Well, this is one of those situations where the bigger the board, the better for the organization, because that's more people to do the work.
Yeah, and we really, we honestly, it's exponential growth, because last year we had 12, so we doubled the size of our board. In this,
just year over year?
Yeah.
How long is the president's term?
President's term is 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually the board member, each of the board commits to 2 years as well. So we've had some board members that have stayed with us for, obviously they term out at some point, but beyond their 2-year commitment. And so we're grateful and lucky for that. But yeah, we have 23 board members, which is great. And I think it's even better that we're able to tap into new areas of expertise. So this year, for example, we added someone that has a deep radio and TV kind of presence and understands that, and is helping us explore that, which is helping us to raise awareness. And we have people that are just kind of gifted in different areas. So I think it's really helping us kind of expand our reach and elevate our presence.
Well, to your point about that corporate sponsorship too, the types of corporations, the bigger the board with the expertise on that board, somebody's going to know somebody in a different category of business to say, okay, here's an opportunity. Maybe I can go talk to those people.
Right.
And see what kind of support we can get, because there's certainly no lack of opportunity from the student population and or the community at large, interest in so many different categories of business. And I would imagine there's enclaves where you see a greater density maybe of women-owned businesses, but not exclusive to any category. Every category has women-owned business in it.
Yeah,
and again,
absolutely.
I mentioned auto construction earlier. Construction is not typically what people think about as a woman-owned business or a woman-driven or run business.
Right.
Yet we've got Mary Teichert over at Teichert, which is a behemoth in the construction industry.
Yeah.
And of course, Allison at Otto, and I'm sure there's others that I'm not coming up with. Christina, do you have any success stories or stories that you can share, or a story that you could share of somebody that was a NAWBO member and continued on, and today we would either recognize, or you could say they started from here and grew to there as a result of not only their hard work and intuition and perseverance and smart, but because they had this circle of women around them to support them?
Yeah, absolutely. So you might know Ann Staines,
Yes.
Agent Marketing.
Absolutely. Well, absolutely.
So she just was recognized in, I think, the Journal.
Yes.
And she was a former president of our chapter. And so we just had our fall business builder a couple weeks ago before Thanksgiving, and she spoke just beautifully about how NABO impacted her business, and how she really felt that she was called to serve. So yes, absolutely, Anne, and she's still a beacon for us. And then you probably also know Rachel and Ann of Clutch.
Yes, I don't know many people in Sacramento right now who don't know at least of Clutch.
Exactly. But yeah, Rachel and Ann are both members, and NABO was their first client when they opened Clutch. So we have a very symbiotic and special relationship with them. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we, we use them to help us produce I can't remember, I'm going to lose the year. It's either 21. I can't remember the year. Yeah, it must have been 21 or 22 OWL Awards.
Okay. I know, I had no idea. So you were their first client. NABO was Clutch's first client.
That is what they tell me.
That's amazing. And here they are now buying one of the biggest advertising agencies and PR firms in Sacramento. Back to Ann Staines, who's a marketing and PR firm as well. How interesting that you've got such synergy in that community. And to the point that we were talking about before we started our conversation, NAWBO to me presents much larger than its budget would belie. And I seem to recognize that logo.
Good.
Why? Yes. I think just because of its presence and the way it's been supported. And Winnie Comstocks, I'm sure, has been involved, and maybe it's from Comstocks Magazine, another woman-owned business. But to me, the presence feels larger than maybe even the 100 and some members that you've got. I've been to a couple of the events, the OWL Awards, and again, that's hundreds of people in a room. So I think that's a real testament to what you're doing and the way that it's being done. And that's just membership. Then you have all your student advocates now who are going to be out there as you continue to grow with St. Francis and Cristo Rey and some of the other schools, Oak Ridge, as this continues to morph into more and more. You just need more board members. That's all you have to do. And with
we need more student ambassadors.
There you go. It'd be a little bit easier that way, right? But even with 23 board members, you keep adding. It just perpetuates the organization into the community because the cause is so great for somebody who's doing it on a volunteer basis. When they're that committed, it's a different dynamic.
Right.
So,
yeah.
What would you like to leave the audience with? If you say, here's us.
That is a good question. I think that what I'd like people to remember about NABO Sacramento is that we would love to bring as many supporting allies, male, female, anything else, along on the journey with us, because we truly feel that it's the adage, right? A rising tide lifts all boats. Many small businesses in California, and I don't have the number in my head at this moment, are women owned, and they do an amazing job supporting the economy, creating jobs, creating community. And I feel like that's a really special thing. So I want people to share what they know about NABO, and if they don't, send them to our website or to any of the social media handles, and encourage them to lean in and take a look and consider and review, and join us at an event and see if we're a right fit. Because not only do we create the lasting connections, the community, the opportunity to elevate your business and to scale and grow, but we also highly prioritize advocacy work. That's a big piece of what we do. And so if they want to know more about us, come to an event, come to our website, but also consider how you can support NABO. If you can't join, or if you are not, an individual business owner, how you can support it otherwise, whether that it's in-kind partnership or a community partnership or just a financial partnership, which we love those too. That would be, I think, a wonderful ask, is for people to consider and remember NABO.
What's the best way to find out about the organization?
You can go to our website. So NABO-SAC.org.
NAWBO, NAWBO, SAC, SAC.org.
Correct.
And we'll put that in the show notes as well.
Great.
And in terms of board membership, participation, what if somebody's interested in getting involved at a different level?
We offer opportunities for multiple types of volunteers. We have volunteers that do just particular projects. We have committee members that will sit just like in a particular role or alignment, vertical, whether that's membership, marketing, media, community. We have specifically an OWL committee.
Of course.
Putting on OWL is a huge endeavor. So even if you just want to offer some of your time or your wisdom or your expertise for a period of time, we would love the volunteer time.
As a pro-business person and one that loves seeing support mechanisms in place for those to learn and share in the success of those businesses, I've really enjoyed learning about NAWBO. Your presence in the community, as we mentioned, really belies the investment. And I think that's a testament to the people that are running the organization as well as the people that have been through it and support it. And I think it also is demonstrative of the need for organizations to support women business. So what you're doing is really phenomenal. And the way that you're engaging now our student population and bringing in younger, either women business owners, younger entrepreneurs to experience and see and really understand what it takes is what our community needs for business to thrive. So, Christina, thank you. Thanks to the great group of volunteers, all 23 members of that board, for what you guys are doing and making such a presence in the community with such a great effort.
Thank you so much for sharing our story and for having me here today. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Thank you for listening to the Nonprofit Podcast Network. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If what you heard moved you, please reach out to that organization and do what you can to help. If you like and appreciate what we're doing to support local nonprofits, please give us a positive review, subscribe, and share. If you're a nonprofit with an interest in participating in an episode, you can reach me at jeff@hearmenowstudio.com. If you have a need for the services or products our sponsors offer, please reach out to them. CapTrust, fiduciary advice for endowments and foundations. Runyon Saltzman Incorporated, RSE, marketing, advertising, and public relations, creating integrated communications committed to improving lives. And Western Health Advantage, a full-service healthcare plan for individuals, employer groups, and families. The Nonprofit Podcast Network is a production of, is recorded at, and edited by Hear Me Now Studio.